So our next reader is Carlos José Péréz Sámano, who is a literary fiction and nonfiction author, teacher of creative writing workshops in countries like Mexico, USA, Kenya, and Cuba. With 4 published books, his work has been featured in more than 20 international magazines like Rio Grande Review, Fredericksburg Literary and Art Review, Magazine, Quinque, Poetry Common, Cultura Collective, among others. He's also a double degree student here at Rosemont College. So please welcome Carlos.
I know today is Monday, not because I have a calendar or because I know which day it is here, but because we were supposed to go to Shirati and it is market day there. The Mother Superior went and bought 2 sheep, food, and also brought the TV along with her to get it repaired. I am enjoying a black tea, which is very common in East Africa. It took us a while to heat it because I first tried to make a fire and then we used the jiko with chaco, a small stove with coal. The neighbors helped. They made a typical joke about how much of a musungu I am, white, clumsy tourist man with his good-for-nothing technology. An eye of the how African they are. Them pointing at my incapacity to build a fire and keep it alive, their laughter delighting at my clumsy hands. But when I had managed, not without their expert help, I started going around the fire with a stick in my hand, and I told them to join me in my ritual dance in honor of the fire goddess, met, of course, with more laughter. Because Africans know they are Africans. They know it and accept it. They are in touch with their whole world via wireless internet, radio, or TV, and they accept themselves as such, mostly. Another experience I want to write down so I don't forget is the celebration in the Mama's house. The bishop came. There was a lot of celebration and dancing. They dance all the time about everything. And they sing, and they move all the time. Dance, dance, and more dance. Because dawn comes every day, because they are happy, because the bishop has come, because he's leaving, and for no reason at all, but they dance and dance. And after all that dancing, we all went to Mama's house. Half-built houses in the dark of drum, half-built houses in the dark, and drum music fills the place. A few lights thanks to the electric plant. Rocks on the ground, colorful rocks. Ribbons of wonderful fabrics. The women dressed with their kangas, their head scarves, all in uniform, beautiful black. A black which brings out the colorfulness that is darkness and sweat and joy. A black that is passion, brightness, and resistance. A black that is the passing and passage of thousands of years underneath the sun. A black that is the paradise of senses. Features that are natural and human. Sincere and pure gestures. Full smiles. Beautiful noses. Shining eyes. Curved foreheads and lined lips. All are Africans, all is Africa. Gestures, the colors, the eyes, the foreheads, the mouths. The women with their fabrics covering all of their bodies, with their curves on every side. The food, the pleasant and unpleasant food. The red ugali, an amorphous red dough, which I thought contained blood. The poorly cut and steamed goat, which with its distinct flavor of sweat, effort, and tenacity. Everyday sukumas, so green, so ordinary, and Coca-Cola. The rocks on the soil floor, which I mention again to call your attention to their beauty. Swahili music with drums that make you move, even if you don't want to. The little light, as if it is afraid to shed light on the blackness of Africa. The dust on the floor, the food in the center, the chairs around, the women, black, old, beautifully dressed, and all this was just at first sight. Then came the greeting. In Swahili, the country's official language, because the language of this tribe is Luo, there is a very respectful and reverent way of greeting. The young say shikamo and bow bending one knee, kneeling, putting one foot behind and lowering their heads. And they all answered marhaba. So I began to greet each of them. The Musungu clumsily greeting every one of them. The white and dumb foreigner that doesn't understand Swahili and even less Luo, wanting to enter the heart of the tribe. And there I go, saying shkamo to each one of them, the mamas, the women of the tribe, the elders, the mothers to them all, the strong ones, the creators, the wise, the arms and heads that carry the water, the hips and breasts that give life. They are life and food. They are the ones who keep the traditions, the ones that use kanga and walk barefooted, the ones who only speak Luo. Is them, the mamas. With each shkamo, I say, and with each bow, not only from my head or body, but with my entire self, I saw in them all they have done for humanity. Africa is the mother of humanity, and they are the mothers of Africa. Here is where the first human being came from, and she was a woman. Here in Africa, here mankind was born, and she was a woman. And that celebration was completely feminine. It was the house of the mamas. They built it because it is part of a project that they are developing. It was a house, a cave, a matrix, and inside, all the colors, the heat, the joy, the food. I didn't have to do anything but that reverential greeting in their language. Then came the food and the dancing. I danced with them for an hour, I think. Here time is measured in experiences that in reality is indivisible and immense, but not always best expressed in hours. I can't find the words to describe what it was to have danced with them. Again, this absurd need to put words into life. It was joy, privilege, emotion, feeling fullness. I am still not able to describe most of what I live. Have you been able to read it? I only hope to have. I hope words come after. And if they don't come, it doesn't matter. Maybe this book shouldn't be written. Maybe this is just an experience. I have to keep for myself, but perhaps there will be someone, an adventurous reader, who reads me and feels the Africa I am experiencing. And not because I have found the words, but because Africa found the way of expanding as well in the black of my letters. I know that the most important aspects will not be put into words or images, ever. I know that what's important is having come, being here. This is Africa, and the rest of the world seems not to exist while I'm here. Thank you very much.
She is suspicious of good fortune, mostly her own, even after 8 4-leaf clovers discovered on the front lawn, because then there is the tree she wakes to, fallen across the driveway, crushing the fence. She tries to stop seeing everything as a sign, hope, harbinger. Really, it is chaos. Random particles, fractals, and feedback loops. Today, another hurricane slams into the East Coast.
Hope and luck, potluck, coin. You ask questions with answer seats. Welcome home, now go. Pistols shot ring out in the bathroom night. Hole, hole, hole. Here comes the hurricane of the blondie hair. Transparent clothes, clover gloves. Clever girls that the authority blame.
There is no edge for the ones living on it, no step up or lucky break. Everyone sees what they want to see, what triggers or stands to threaten them. Not the hurt or brokenness, the empty, gutted thing. She is looking for a way through it now. Sometimes it's the night gaping, the fated dinner at a friend's house, the 5th or 6th glass of cheap Chardonnay.
In what order doubts will come? By which crack? Transplanted face soothed by 3 white ants. Climb to your own womb. Turn off your phone. Listen to Orpheus sleep your dog. Your god. Dog. 3 heads barking at your door. Your sister, Eurydice, waits at the porch. Soaked torch, you may lose your touch. Yes, Pennsylvania Dutch.
She goes back in search of where it all began, traces the paternal line of descent, downward spiral marked not by fortune, but hard work. Back-breaking factory days, corner bars, beer-drenched nights, too many mouths to feed. When pasta infested with ants is boiled, the bugs move fast like molecules through water, float to the top, wait to be skimmed off. This is the story of a Sunday feast.
We will be dead when we will reach the age of narcissism. Madonna and Aretha Franklin, their nails, hips, and heels. Speaking of stage, clovers will grow from our parents, grandparents' eyes, but not wildflowers on social media. Versions of versions of versions of versions of versions of versions of verses, and Bezos and Jeff Bezos.
Stalks soar, split, hawks circle overhead, and another tree uproots itself from the rain-soaked earth. This metaphor she insists on extends, threads through the eye of another storm. She studies what threatens to destroy, the burden of inheritance, a marriage unraveling, her body arcing toward some other life, branching out, the double helix, the bound and faded replication of DNA.